Okay, rewriting in standard form using integers. The first thing that we need to do is take the equation and we need to clear any fractions. And we need to figure out if there's just one fraction, we're going to multiply by the denominator. We want to just multiply by what you see in number 26. That's 6, everything by 6, in order to clear it. So first we'll write the original equation. Always start with your original equation. And then we're going to say, let's do 6 times whatever was there on the left equals 6 times everything that was there on the right, sorry. Okay, and we got to distribute that times 6 on the right hand side, but what do we get? We get 6y equals that 6 and this 6 and this 6, oops, sorry about that, this 6 and that 6 cancel each other out, leaving us with just one x or x. But remember, we're distributing, so that 6 only cancels, this 6 cancels that out, but we still need to multiply that 6 by that 5. Don't forget that. If you cancel that and think it's gone, it's not, because that gets multiplied there, and that gets multiplied there as well. So be careful with that. Okay? So we say then 6 times 5 is 30. And if we move the x's to the left-hand side, because that's where we need them, you see that we get negative x plus 6y equals 30. And we need to have our x term as positive. So actually, that's a standard. You'll look at this answer and you'll notice that they actually don't do that. They don't divide by -1 and get x minus 6y equals -30. You should. They didn't. So they have as an answer here C. Okay? Not everyone expects that, but many mathematicians do expect that that leading coefficient of x is positive, and so we're going to stick with that. I will do my best to make a note and make sure that you have a problem where you don't have an answer where the leading coefficient is negative like you do here, because that's a little bit confusing based on what I told you. But what I'm teaching you is actually a more accurate version of what you're going to run into with some math teachers, and so you should stick with that. Okay, now let's do this last one. We've got y equals 0.2 x minus 0.3, and these are decimals, and you can see that if you multiply a decimal number, these go out to the 10th place, so we can multiply everything by 10 to clear them. Multiplying a decimal like this by 10 will move the decimal over 1 and give you a whole number. So we're going to say 10 parentheses y equals 10 parentheses 0.2x minus 0.3. And when we distribute that 10 through, we get 10y equals 0.2 times 10 is 2x, and then 10 times -0.3, is -3. And we're going to subtract 2x from both sides, and we get -2x plus 10y equals -3. And as I said, you have this particular program doesn't require the leading coefficients to be positive, so you will see this. Okay, so if you can't find your answer, look and say, did they just not change the leading coefficient to be positive? Because if they didn't, these two answers are equivalent. The answer that I would like you to have and the answer that they have. So again, I will try and make a note to not have problems where you're confused by that. But if you can't find your answer, just see if they didn't actually divide everything by -1 to keep this leading coefficient of x positive, and see if you can find your answer.